I hate reporting on this, I hate having to talk about it, but I want to keep everybody in the loop on the pricing situation right now, and unfortunately it's not looking good for the Model 3 and Y. Pretty much all of the trims got more expensive with the exception of the long-range Model 3, which is still available at $50,000, more than it was a couple of years ago, but I have to blame inflation partly for this. I mean, there's certainly been a lot more US dollars printed lately, and that's probably impacting these prices as well, but I don't think it's actually the parts and the manufacturing of these vehicles that are getting more expensive, because as we've seen, production seems to just keep ramping higher and higher and higher, and Tesla has consistently been able to beat expectations quarter after quarter with how many vehicles they can produce and deliver. So I'm guessing this really has nothing to do with parts being more and more expensive, and it has more to do with there being an insane amount of people ordering Teslas, more so than in the past, because people are catching on to this electric transition and finding out how practical EVs are, and there's so much demand for them that there's really no point in keeping prices the same if you're not going to be able to deliver a vehicle for 9-10 months out. That's where unfortunately we saw the biggest price hike, which breaks my heart because this is the cheapest Tesla available. So people out there who don't really care about acceleration, they don't care about having the highest range, they don't care about having the most cargo space, they just wanted a Tesla of some kind because they want the supercharging, they want autopilot, they want the software. That one got a $2,000 price increase from $40,000. Now it's $42,000. Almost could have been $426,900. That would have been perfect Tesla, and more than you actually ended up charging. But standard range plus Model 3 is now $2,000 more than it was a day ago, and the performance Model 3 got a $1,000 price increase, and all the Model Y trims saw a $1,000 price increase, which, yes, that now means the Model Y today is more expensive than it has ever been before. In fact, it's $15,000 more than it was earlier in the year when they briefly had a $40,000 standard range Model Y available. Now you can't get any Tesla for $40,000. Probably not even used. I've been looking around the used market and they're barely depreciating at all. In fact, there's quite a few used Teslas right now that are going for a higher price than new, just because if you do order one new, you're gonna have to wait a long time, like the long range Model Y. That's pushed out until April right now, so if you want to buy a used long-range Model Y from someone, they're probably gonna cost more than $55,000 because they know you can get that one right away. So the reason I'm bummed about this is because I know there's a lot of you out there that are in the market and you're saving up money hoping to buy one within a reasonable amount of time, but every time the price goes up, that dream vehicle becomes harder and harder to grasp. From a business perspective, I don't really see it as that bad news, because all it really means is Tesla is probably going to secure an even higher profit margin on these vehicles, and if you've already ordered a Model 3 or Y at a specific price point, they're not going to increase the price for you. You've locked in your price with your order deposit, so don't worry about that if you were waiting on your Model Y or 3. These price hikes are only applying to new orders coming in, so if you haven't bought a Model 3 or Y yet, now you're going to have to deal with this updated pricing, but it certainly means that Tesla has far more demand than they know how to fill, because as the standard range Model 3 has literally never costed this much before. I don't ever recall a time in history where to get the standard range option it was $42,000. You're gonna have to wait until June of 2022, that is if you want the Aero wheels. For some reason there might be an Aero wheel shortage, because if you opt for the sport tires on the Model 3, which seems to be the default option now, they still cost an extra $1,500, but it shaves off 3 months of the estimated delivery window. So I guess maybe they have a higher profit margin on the sport wheels, so maybe they're actively encouraging people to order them with those 19-inch options because maybe they make more money that way. But yeah, this, if anything, knowing that their production capacity keeps increasing and the number of vehicles they produce each quarter keeps increasing, and yet we see the delivery timelines get pushed out further and further and further, this to me is only evidence not so much of the chip shortage affecting them, because Tesla has still been able to grow over 50% in year over year, which is what they guided from 2020 to 2021. They're still able to grow at an astounding rate, but the prices keep going up, and they're luckily able to navigate the chip shortage pretty effectively. So what this means is lots of people are finding out about Tesla, finding out about their safety measures, finding out about their efficiency and the lower cost of ownership, and it's just resulting in this huge influx of orders that Tesla cannot fill the demand on, which is an overall good news thing for the EV community, but still slightly, annoying for those of us who are in the market and we're hoping to buy one soon. Now you got to find out you pay more more. But honestly, if I was in Tesla's situation right now, and there's been some rumors about Tesla bringing over a bunch of CATL lithium iron phosphate batteries to the United States, desperate times call for desperate measures, but I would personally suggest reviving the standard range Model Y. They already have it in China with the lithium iron phosphate pack, and selling that at a fairly high price point, because that vehicle we know costs around the same or potentially even less than the Model 3, thanks to the single piece front and rear casting and the GigaPress technology and the manufacturing efficiencies of the Model Y. Plus, we know that the batteries with the iron phosphate chemistry are much cheaper than the 2170 batteries. If anything, maybe Tesla should consider scrapping the standard range Model 3, because that's still going to have the very complicated rear underbody, and there's not as much castings in that. It probably still costs them an annoying amount to mass produce the Model 3 because it has a lot of dated manufacturing technology in it. Instead of using these iron phosphate batteries for Megapack, which they don't get to sell at as high a profit margin as a vehicle like the Model Y, just have a long range and a performance Model 3, but then have a standard range Model Y that you could sell for, I don't know, $46,000, $47,000. You get your manufacturing efficiencies, you can catch up on production with that. Maybe the demand won't be as crazy high as the standard range Model 3 because the price is a bit higher, although the profit margins with the iron phosphate battery would be really, really good compared to selling Powerwalls or Megapack or any of those other options. So maybe I'm crazy, you know, I don't know the logistics, I don't know the actual operating costs of mass producing the Model Y, but I have to imagine it's pretty dang cheap relative to how much Tesla actually charges for the Model Y, so the margins has got to be better there. But I'm also super curious if any of these delivery timelines are going to change, or if we're going to see some drastic updates with the website once Giga Texas comes online, which should be any day now. There's a lot of people speculating that the annual shareholder meeting being hosted at Giga Texas is evidence that they have something to announce there. You know, they're going to live stream it from inside the facility, I believe, and that makes me think maybe the assembly line is ready and they're going to start mass producing Model Ys out of Texas later this month. And if that's the case, you know, do they have the 2170 batteries or the 4680 batteries? If they have 4680 batteries and they're ready to start launching those vehicles, are they going to be a separate trim from the current Model Y listings? Will those be ready for delivery, you know, within the next couple months, or are they just going to start delivering Texas-made Model Ys to people who are waiting for their long-range and performance Model Y orders to be delivered? There's a lot of questions I have for how the new Gigafactories are going to play into all of these delivery timelines slipping, but seeing Tesla's prices on their cheapest vehicles going up is certainly a bit negative look. But overall, I don't think it's doomsday news. I don't think it means Tesla's in trouble. It just means they need more factories, and I guess Giga Texas might not be enough. Feel free to let me know your guys' theories down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.